Paul George is getting suspended for 25 games for violating the NBA's banned substance policy. Now, this is crazy. He's going to be missing 25 games. That means he's not going to be back until the end of March. And we really need to talk about this because this means a lot, not only for the Sixers, but also for the entire Eastern Conference. Now, we do not know what substance Paul George was taking. I'm going to come out and say that right now. From what I'm reading and from what I'm seeing that, in his statement that he put out or his publicist put out, I think it was not PEDs. I wouldn't doubt that it is PEDs, but he's saying that he took something when he was recovering from mental health stuff. So I'm thinking maybe a psychoactive substance. I don't know what that would be. Maybe K, maybe mushrooms. I might have to block that out. I don't know, and I'm not going to sit here guessing all day. Hopefully we get some more information and we can go from there. But this is huge because this means that they're going to be without their third best scorer for the next 25 games. They are currently the 6th seed in the NBA. They are going to drop. I don't think that this team can coast without him because I believe they're 16-11 with him and 10-10 without him. So most likely, unless some things change, which I'm going to talk about in this video, they will be in the play-in when he comes back, and they will have to dig their way out of that. They will have to fight their way in the play-in to make it into the playoffs and maybe lose in the first round, which is not what we want to see because at the start of the season, this team was slated to be bad. Nobody really believed in this team. Embiid did not look healthy. It did not seem like he was going to come into this season and be as healthy as he has been, right? He's obviously not super healthy. He's been playing on some minute restrictions when he first came in, but he has seemed all right. He seemed like the Joel Embiid that we know and love. And same with Paul George. Paul George has been playing pretty well. I think he is a 16-point per game scorer, and he's been defending pretty well. He's been their third best scorer on the team. I think I've said that already, but that's a big deal. This team has looked good when they're all on the court, and now they're going to be missing him. They're going to miss that chemistry, and they won't be able to build it until the end of the season. So what's going to change, right? You'll be missing him for 2 months, basically. Well, number one, Maxey and Embiid are going to have to step up big time. We've seen Maxey jump this season like we've never seen him do before, right? He's gotten better at a lot of different things. He's gotten better at scoring, playmaking, even defending. And this team has a ton of talent between the two of them. When they're on the same court together, they can win every single night. But that's the key thing. They have to be on the court together. We have to see Embiid and Maxey both be healthy at the same time in order for this team to coast and keep that 6 seed, maybe even that 7 or 8 seed. Now, also, this team is going to have to find some players to step up. In my head, those players are going to be maybe Dominic Barlow. I think Kelly Oubre could step up. I think Watford could step up. There's going to be a few players that will need to play well in the extra minutes that they're going to be getting in order for this team to have a positive net rating. Now, another big piece that I'm going to be watching in Sixers games going from now until March 25th when he's going to come back is VJ Edgecombe, right? Because VJ Edgecombe can mean a lot to this team. He's already had a good rookie season so far, but I think with some more games under his belt, that All-Star break to give him some rest, I think he can be a real piece, right? I think he can step up and start to fill that void, right? I know he's only a shooting guard. He's not a forward like Paul George, but I think he can defend well. I think he can start picking up the slack on the scoring end of things. We will have to see. One of the reasons that the Sixers have been better than expected so far is they've been healthier than we have seen them over the past 2 years. They are going to need to stay that way. All of their role players will need to stay healthy. They will need extreme luck in that aspect. Now, other than that, let's talk about how this suspension affects them money-wise, because we know that Paul George was making a ton of money. Well, basically, him losing out on these games will also make the Sixers have an easier time getting under the luxury tax, which is a big deal because over the past few seasons, we've seen them duck the luxury tax every single time. This gives this team a little bit of roster flexibility. They could maybe make a trade. They still have to cut, I believe it's $1 million from the roster in order for them to duck the luxury tax. They can do this and pick up a piece that will help them in Paul George's absence. I don't know who that piece is. I would love to see your guys' feedback in the comments. Maybe put out some trades. I don't know. Other than the suspension helping them duck the luxury tax, it's also going to change this team in a few different ways. This team is going to get worse with the spacing and also worse at defense without him. I think that teams with a great offense will have a way easier time kind of dismantling them. And I think that's going to be a big deal because they're going on a pretty tough stretch here in a little bit. And also, not having Paul George out there will make some defenders have to focus on Embiid and Maxey a little more. Maybe even put some focus on VJ Edgecombe. This will make them less efficient because Paul George is basically out there to just be some guy who you have to look at. His gravity has been kind of understated this season, and I think that's going to make a big difference. Now, do I think that this will happen? I don't know. I'm kind of mixed on that situation, right? On one hand, I think that this team has, like I said, a pretty deep roster. They have Kelly Oubre who could step up. Some of the players that I mentioned, VJ Edgecombe could develop really well in Paul George's absence. At the same time, you're losing out on 16 points per game. You're losing out on a great shooter. You're losing out on a great defender. Nick Nurse is going to have to find ways to deal with this. He's going to have to alter rotations. And we're going to see what that means for this team in the upcoming 25 games. Now, there's one situation where this team comes out stronger at the end of this, right? And I'm really hoping that this team does come out stronger. I think if this team can find ways to beat great squads with this handicap, they have a real chance at making some noise in the playoffs. But I think that if they don't stay healthy, if they can't find a way to contain top offenses without Paul George, if they can't find a way to have a positive winning record without him, I don't think they have a real shot at making any noise this season. And this season is going to end like how a lot of people expected it would. Maybe a first-round exit. Maybe they lose in the play-in. I don't want to see that happen. So I'm banking on them making a trade, moving a few pieces around, or maybe developing a few people internally to fill that void that Paul George is leaving. Now, man, I feel really bad for Paul George. I got to talk about this for a little at the end of the video. I didn't want to talk about it at the start of the video because it's not basketball related. Mental health is a huge thing. I know he's always gone through stuff like this, and I'm not a person who constantly comes out and hates on a person, right? Maybe I'll talk a little bit of crap on basketball, but over the years, Paul George has taken a beating, right? On social media, by fans of the NBA, by players in the NBA. It's not his fault that a lot of things have happened to him that just haven't worked out, right? We saw the whole Clipper ordeal. We saw when he played on OKC and he got, I don't know, dismantled by Dame. That would really affect somebody. That would really affect me if I had millions of people calling me trash, playoff P, not playoff P, pandemic P, all that stuff. Podcast P. I think that we should cut him a little more slack. I hope he's doing all right. I hope that in this absence, he figures out some of the stuff that was wrong with him and comes in with a clear mind and a fresh body and can play some great basketball and also can lead Philadelphia sports to a few wins in the playoff. Maybe they make some deep noise, right? I hope they do something because Philadelphia deserves it. If you enjoyed this video, it's a little bit of a ranting video. Please subscribe, like, comment, all that stuff. I have a video on the Cavs coming out. I have a trade deadline video coming out. Hopefully we see some trades. I'm really banking on it because I'm bored right now, man. I need some trades. Please give it to me. With all that being said, thanks for watching. Peace. See you guys later.